Recording in progress.
So once again, welcoming you all for the happy hours of coaching session. My name is Ashutosh Bhattodekar, and I'll be facilitating this session. And this is a session which many people were asking me to do. Yeah, I think this is one of the important events in our agile transformation, right? How do we demonstrate the working increment, right? I mean, we call it as an increment. How do we demonstrate this increment to our stakeholders? How do we gather feedback from them? What are some of the best practices related to demo? What we should be applying? And I thought that I will cover this topic for the benefit of all of you. Right. And those of you who are on LinkedIn Live, those of you who are on YouTube, once again, welcome you all back. And do post in your questions, do post in your queries, and I'll be more than happy to answer those queries either during the session or maybe after the session, I will reach out to you. Just a brief introduction about myself, Ashutosh Bhattodekar, Enterprise Agile Coach, a trainer and a consultant. And you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. That's my LinkedIn coordinate there. I also have a YouTube channel, Agile Coaching and Transformation Leadership, where I have now almost 100 plus videos to help you grow in your career as a Scrum Master, Product Owner, Agile Coach. If you're interested in subscribing, do subscribe to that channel. Right now, it is also getting live feeded on my YouTube channel. And yeah, I mean, I have written a few articles on DZone. Also, my Twitter coordinate is there. Though not much active on Twitter, but in case you would like to connect with me on any of these, feel free to connect with me and I'll be more than happy to take this further. All right. So let us understand, I mean, why did we felt the need of such a topic, right? I mean, why do you think that this topic actually came to my mind? Well, the reason, you know what, just like retrospectives become very, very bored and dry over a period of time, right? Even our sprint review or, I mean, there are different names to it. Scrum calls it as a sprint review. Some people call it as a demo. If you go in Scaled Agile framework, it is called as a system demo, right? Some people also use the word show and tell, but ultimately the objective of this event is to showcase an increment to our stakeholders. So as we know, one of the important thing in Agile is how quickly can we develop an increment, how quickly can we showcase that increment, and how quickly can we get a feedback on that increment so that we can inspect and adapt and improve it further. So that's what is the event all about. So whether you call it a demo, whether you call it a sprint review or a system demo or show and tell, ultimately the objective is to grab a quick feedback from our product owner or other end users or customers and improvise the product or improve the product as we move along, right? That is the main motive of this, right? And as I said, over a period of time, what happens is this becomes very, very dry and boring, right? And even the stakeholders say that your team is not really doing a great demo, right? I mean, we expected that you at the helm of affairs as an agile coach, you should be doing something great, but the teams are not really doing a great demo, right? So that is what we see as the feedback coming up. And let us try to further understand this, like how we can make our reviews more exciting. I'm sure many of you would have tried these techniques, or many of you would have tried some different techniques. So we'll be definitely interested to hear more about these techniques as we go along, or some other suggestions to make our demos more exciting. Right. So this is a very interesting picture. The actual product, I think that is what I'm trying to tell you, right? Don't first mistake which we make in a sprint review or a demo is we go with a PPT slide. Okay. In fact, one of the rules which I had made in one of the coaching conversations or in a coaching team was hashtag no PPT. So you enter into a demo without a PPT. In fact, you enter into a demo without a laptop. Try to see how you can present a demo without a laptop. It might sound crazy, and just hold on your thoughts for some time. You'll come to know why it is sounding crazy. Okay. But enter into a demo without a laptop. Okay. You're not supposed to carry any laptop inside the demo room, or when you're doing a demo, try to present something without a laptop, because the very essence of a sprint review as per the official Scrum guide is the Scrum team presents the result of their work to key stakeholders and progress towards the product goal is discussed. right? So you necessarily do not need a PowerPoint presentation to identify to demonstrate your key your goals, right? You can actually do it without a laptop, right? You can actually do it. There's some very interesting techniques which you can try it out, and I'm sure your product owners will appreciate that. Another problem I see is so let's say my sprint is ending on a Wednesday, Tuesday, let us say. My demo is scheduled at 5 o'clock. Everyone starts scrambling from 4:30 onwards. Oh my god, my PPT is not ready. You know what should I talk in the demo? No, you have to start preparing for a sprint review much early during the sprint. In fact, some amount of buffer capacity has to be kept aside. The scrum master, in fact, in the sprint planning meeting itself, you should decide who's going to do the sprint review rather than scrambling on the last moment on, let us say, Friday, the Wednesday evening, 5 o'clock, trying to scramble who's going to present the sprint review or who's going to demo in a sprint review. You should actually prepare in advance. In the sprint planning, you should ask the team as a scrum master or an agile coach, okay, tell me this time who's going to make a demo, this time who's going to play that role of a chief person who's going to showcase the good things or increment what we are going to do in the current sprint to the product owner and his or her stakeholders. This is something which has to be done much earlier rather than, as I said, scrambling around at the end to figure out who's doing. And then you start figuring out, oh, Ashutosh, will you do it? Or Ramesh, will you do it? Or John, will you do it? And then neither Ashutosh nor Ramesh nor John are interested in doing it, right? So try to have a better planning and deciding in upfront in advance who is that key person who would be doing the or who will be doing the show and tell or the demo. Okay, so let me talk about some kind of an entry checklist into the sprint review. So before even we think that, okay, we are ready for the sprint review, make sure these items are kind of a tick mark. Like, first of all, the definition of done has to be confirmed for each and every story which you're going to demo. So it is very important that the DOD, the definition of ready is marked as checked and it is marked as ticked for each and every story which is there, right? So DOD, as we know, is an exit gate. It is an exit gate which tells us whether the story is meeting the doneness criteria. The demo script has to be ready to be presented. What is a demo script? I will talk about it, right? What exactly do I mean by demo script? It will become clear in next few slides. Make sure that the invites are shared with all the stakeholders. I have actually seen team members sending a meeting invite at 4:45 p.m. for a 5 o'clock demo. No, don't do that. You have to negotiate time with the product owners. You can't expect them to be free. You can't expect the customer and the end user to be free, right? You have to negotiate the time with them in advance. In fact, again, the invites is something which should go in the sprint planning meeting itself. And as I said, you have to demonstrate the finished work, not a PowerPoint presentation, right? So don't take a PowerPoint. Try to avoid taking a PowerPoint in a sprint review. That believe me, your stakeholders will be very happy if you try to apply any of these things which are there, right? And maybe you can take one laptop as a backup if you want in the initial days when you're trying to experiment this. But over a period of time, you don't even need to carry a laptop inside, right? Or if at all, the first technique which I'm going to talk about, maybe one person carries a laptop, the rest of the people go there with just pen and paper inside a sprint review meeting. Okay, so let me now walk you through some of the interesting techniques which I have actually coached my teams, and I have asked them to prepare a sprint review in that format. Okay, so the first technique which I told my team, okay, the first technique which I told my team in their journey was create a movie trailer. Now, what does this mean? Do you have to be a cinematographer? No. What I'm saying here is that, I mean, this is of course depends on the guidelines of the organization. Many organizations don't allow you to shoot inside. That is a different story. But this, of course, is coming from a product development organization where, you know what, whenever we had that aha moment in our sprint, we actually shot that moment. So whenever my story got completed, yeah, and there was a shooting which was done, right? Whenever my burn down chart started falling down, we actually did a shooting of that, right? And then we prepared a demo script. And what do I mean by demo script? A demo script means that we actually shot how the feature is going to look. How the feature is going to look from start to end is what we actually did, right? And we actually showcased that film to them. we showcased that film to them as a part of the sprint review, right? So it was a 4 to 5 minute video which we told them that this is how the video would look like, and these are the salient features what we have done. And remember, it starts with the sprint goal. You have to once again reiterate what is the sprint goal, and then we made them see the movie. And then we said, now tell us what is the first feature you want to see, or what is the first user story you would like to see. And they were very impressed. They were really very impressed with this short video clip which we had demonstrated. And they saw that. They said, okay, I want to see the payment gateway feature. I want to see XYZ feature. That is what I want to start with in a sprint review. So demo video or a movie trailer definitely makes it a very, very out of the box experience. Believe me, try it out. If it doesn't work, come back to me and tell me that, no, you were wrong, it doesn't work, but try it out. I'm pretty sure it will work. Okay. Yeah, I'll be more than happy to hear what all innovative ideas you have used to make your demos more exciting. Okay. Second one, very interesting thing, science fair theme. We actually installed a booth. I mean, this is pre-COVID example. I agree with you. This is a pre-COVID example. We actually created a booth, and we had a lot of those chart papers, lot of those pictures which we had drawn. And we told them what is the before picture. So before the sprint started, what is the functionality? What is the after sprint functionality, right? What exactly you are getting, what you are not getting before sprint, what is the after sprint functionality you're likely to get, right? And we gave a kind of a simulation. Okay, I'm not saying I mean, we created a simulation product, and we showed them this is how the product will work. We also showed them on a big LCD that video again. So the previous movie trailer was also a part of a science fair theme. I think we all know, right? When we visit any fair, right, there's always some video which is running which talks about that product. So why not implement in our product, right? I mean, we are also building a product at the end of the day. Or if you visit any industrial exhibition, I'm sure you would have visited industrial exhibition. There are a lot of those products which are at sale, right? But they also give you a demo. They also have a video which is running. They also ask you to experience it, right? Experience the product. So you make your product owners experience it. You make them experience that this is what you will get. And can you download this feature? Now we have enabled this feature. You can download it on your smartphone and use it yourself. That's why I said no laptops. You have to tell the product owner, this is a feature which is available on App Store. It is already up on the Play Store. Can you download it? And can you, or basically it could be any other site. I mean, if you have not released it into production till you wait for the sprint review, it could be any other site from where the product owner can actually download the app on his or her mobile and check whether that feature or functionality has been developed. So real-time demo again, setting up a booth. Okay, so no, I mean, why do you have to every time do a sprint review in a meeting room? I mean, you can always do it in an open area, right? Where you set up something like this, a small kiosk where people come and they actually see the real demo which is happening of the product, right? Not necessarily every Scrum event has to happen in a meeting room. Like one of the important things I've also done in one of the coaching sessions is I actually took, we did a retrospective in a movie hall. You won't believe it, but we did it. We watched the movie for 3 hours. And then after that, we did a retrospective in the moving hall itself. In the open area, we did a retrospective. I mean, we used, so people actually brought in stories from that movie into their retrospective. So that is what you have to do. I mean, you don't have to confine yourselves into a meeting room always for any of these Scrum events, right? So that's exactly what I'm trying to tell. Why can't we create a booth like this, either an industrial fair theme or a science fair theme, where we can actually conduct an actual demo rather than going in for PPT, right? I mean, it's a very fun element, right? All of us have visited these fairs. All of us have gone through these exhibitions. We have actually experienced, right? I mean, when you visit an exhibition, they treat you as a product owner, right? Because they consider you as a potential person who's going to buy that product. The same feeling you have to give to your product owner. So that's the second tip, which might make your demo a very, very exciting feature to be. Okay, the third one, buy a feature or a story game. This is very interesting. Now, this is actually used for prioritization, but you can also use it for a sprint review or a sprint demo. So you give your stakeholders coins, casino coins or Monopoly notes, and you tell them this was our sprint goal. These are the 5 user stories we have completed. Which one is the most valuable as per you? We will give you a demo. tell us which one you like the most, put the most highest coin on that, right? So this is an instant feedback for the team, believe me. So a user story which gets a low score or a low currency note, we know that there's a lot of scope for improvement, right? It helps you to plan your retrospective in a better way, because the product owner is going to tell you that, I mean, it's the best feedback what you can get, right? Forget any NPS or any other feedback scores. This is the feedback what you will get, right? Put a 10 rupee note or put a $10 bill on the user story. Another user story get a $500 bill. You know which story is actually has excited the product owner, which story needs an improvement, or which story we need to invest more if we want to really make our product owner happy at the end of the day. So buy a feature game. Again, we have tried it out with the Monopoly currency notes, and it really helps us to prioritize and understand, more importantly, which story was the most exciting one, or which feature was loved by our product owner. Okay, so that's another interesting trick you might try. Okay, the reason I'm telling you these tricks is I may not be knowing all the tricks of the trade. Okay, and I'm expecting you to try out these and come out with something more exciting, and maybe tell us in a forum like this that, no, this is also what I additionally tried out, right? That is what is the purpose of having this session. Okay, the fourth one, role play enactment. We have done this also. So what we do is we actually make a small skit. We actually make a small play, and we actually enact that play. We actually build a story around that play, around the product and its feature. For example, I'm just giving an example, a hypothetical example. Let us say I want to book a cab from Ola or Uber, or let us say Lyft. I actually enact that scenario. Oh my God, I'm getting late for office. What do I do? Okay, this is a, oh, let me book a cab. Oh my God, it is telling me from it's a search pricing which has been applied. Through the story, you tell the product owner what features you have given. Oh, it is giving, oh, wonderful. It is giving me the approximate time also. So I can be in my right time for the meeting. I thought that it will be too much of a traffic today, but right now it is telling me that from my house to office, it will take me in 15-20 minutes. Wonderful, right? This is a good thing what they have done. So through the story, you're going to enact the features, right? You're going to tell the product owner, this is what we have developed, right? And you actually shoot it. If there's a permission to shoot this, you can actually shoot it, right? So you have the entire team which comes together and which does a role play. They enact a role play. One of them plays a product owner, one of them plays, or maybe a family which is using that feature. So it could be a book my show application, it could be an ATM machine, or an let's say an internet banking application. But you actually enact that through that story. So you'll have to prepare that story, you have to rehearse it in advance, and then be ready for the actual demo. So this also we have tried it out. I mean, it has given wonderful results. Because see, believe me, this brings about your team bonding. Remember that very famous Tuckman's model of team building: forming, storming, norming, performing. If you really want to take your team to that level of a high performing team, try out these techniques. Believe me, this has got an additional ripple effect on that also. And especially when you're new to the team, when team members are not talking to each other, these techniques, I'm sure, will will it actually speed up the journey of a team moving in from a low performing team to a high performing team. Because obviously for this you will have to network. You'll have to network amongst the team members. You'll have to enact that script. You might have to do it twice or thrice. You will have to do it, and then you'll have to present it. And then the final demo or a review which happens is where you'll have to enact it, right? So try it out. I mean, definitely try it out. This, I'm pretty sure, is going to make something very, very exciting for the review or the demo. Last but definitely not the least, I thought that I will cover only 5. So last but definitely not the least is, I mean, this is something no rocket science. Everyone does this, rotating the anchor. So one thing which I have seen is many times the same person ends up doing the sprint review. No, why so? Anyone can do a sprint review. Even the junior most member in your team can be that anchor who actually demonstrates the sprint goal to the product owner and his or her stakeholders. So rotate the wheel. Don't have the same person doing it. In fact, whoever is nominated, you ask that person, tell me, how would you like to do this sprint review? Do you have any better idea of doing it? Can we do it in a different way, right? Ask those questions, ask those queries to that person. Tell him that tell him or her that I'm expecting few good ideas from you. to take it forward, right? Ask him that, okay, any suggestions? How did you observe? What was your feedback from the last review which happened? How can we improve? Ask those questions as a coach. So you'll have to rotate the anchor. You don't have the same person. Believe me, even when you look at the same person as your favorite sports commentator, you get bored, right, over a period of time. So rotate, keep on rotating the anchor, and make sure that the person is excited to be playing that role, right? And if people are not willing, go for a lottery system, as simple as that, or that wagon wheel, right? We have that wagon wheel where we put all the names of the people. You rotate the wagon wheel, and whosoever name comes, that person will have to actually do the sprint review for this particular sprint, right? So again, there's a misconception that only people who have developed that story can do the demo. No, you might have developed a user story for, let us say, payment by credit card. I can go and do a sprint review. Why not? I mean, that is a strength of the team, right? That indicates how much is the strength of the team if you are able to do that, right? I mean, if you have developed a story and I go and demonstrate it, I think even I have, I mean, it is an indication of your team being a self-organized team, right? So try this out again, right? So I had thought that I will cover these five important, I would say, ideas, or some of these ideas. It is not that only these five ideas I have covered. I've taken many such things in my coaching journey, but definitely the idea was to, I mean, trigger that thought process in all of your mind, that let us not keep our demos and sprint reviews very mundane, confined to a meeting room. Let's come out of the meeting room, let's come out of that box, think out of that box, and try to come out with something very innovative and exciting for both the parties. Now obviously you will wonder that, can this be done in a remote world? I'm expecting this question, because obviously you might think that some of these techniques actually operate only in the physical world. The answer is no. The answer is no. So for example, the second one which I talked about, right, or the first one, movie trailer, it can be done in a remote world. You shoot a video and you upload it on the MS Teams or Zoom. This can be done. Even the science fair theme can be done. You create a breakout room. You create a breakout room where a team is waiting. When the meeting starts, you tell the product owner, sir, we would like to visit a fair. We're taking you to a fair, and let us see what happens in a fair. So even this we have done in a virtual mode, not that this is only restricted to a physical world. Okay. A third one definitely can be done in a virtual world. No challenges, right? I mean, buy a feature or buy a story is something which can also be done in a virtual setting also, because all you need is digital coins for it, which you can configure it, right? So you can have digital coins which you can give it, and you can again use a Zoom session like this, or a Microsoft Teams sessions to do it. Okay. Role play, definitely it can be done. Role play also can be done in a virtual mode. Okay. It's not that, so obviously, because the next immediate question is like, in the hybrid mode, can it be done? The answer is yes. All these techniques can either be applied in a physical world, or they can be applied in a hybrid world. And rotating the anchor, it's not really a technique. It is just a guideline which I'm telling you. So definitely this also, you can do it in the virtual world. So these five techniques which I have talked about, they can either be done in a physical setting, face-to-face setting, or it can be done in a virtual setting also, right? So irrespective of the fact where your team is there, whether it is co-located or whether it's a virtual team, this can be done. Okay, some last tips and tricks to make your review more effective, to make your review that aha moment, so that your review gets that aha moment, and you basically get the extra brownie points from your stakeholders. So some interesting final tips I would like to talk about before I open the floor for any questions. So the first tip which I would like to give you is set the stage very clearly. And as I said, the set the stage doesn't happen at 4:30 p.m. when the sprint review is planned at 5 p.m. Set the stage happens during your sprint planning meeting. I think I would have repeated this three or four times, but every now and then I see Scrum Masters making that mistake. They don't plan for a sprint review in a sprint planning. Have that forward-looking vision, because it's just 2 weeks. Okay, remember, most of our sprints are 2 weeks or 3 weeks at the max. So make sure you set the stage in the sprint planning. Your stage preparation has to start from sprint planning, not on the last day of the sprint. The second tip is, make sure you reiterate the sprint goal. So any format what you take, any of those 5 games you take, make sure the sprint goal either subtly or clearly comes out there. Okay, so whatever was the sprint goal, make sure you reiterate that to the product owner. Oh, this is what we came out with our sprint goal, or this is what we were talking about from a sprint goal perspective. That is number 2 tip. Number 3 is it's a real demo, as I've been telling, right? No PPTs, hashtag no PPT. As I said, I in fact restricted people from opening Microsoft PowerPoint. Now you might say that they will convert the PPT into PDF. No, no PDF, no PPT. Do whiteboarding. In fact, there one technique which I missed there is whiteboarding. We did an entire demo through a whiteboarding, and again that can be done through a real mode, in a physical mode where there's a conference room and you have a whiteboard, or any breakout area where there's a whiteboard, or even in a Zoom setting where you can do a whiteboard. So that is one of the techniques. Maybe I will add that as a 6th technique, because that also I have done. So I've asked the teams to actually explain everything on a whiteboard. No PPT, no PDF, right? So that is a real demo. It has to be a real working demo. Working software is the primary measure of success. I think we know that principle, right, of the Agile Manifesto. So that is, it has to be a real working demo which has to be given to the product owner. 4th one, make sure at the end of the demo, get a feedback. It is very important. What things you liked, what things you did not like, how can we improve our presentation, right? Anything new? By the way, when we did this, product owner actually said that, okay, can you do next time this theme? So when it was a Christmas, we had a Christmas theme related to the sprint review, right? Can you do this thing, right? I mean, we have Diwali coming up. So can we have a cracker kind of a bursting first, and then we go in for a demo? So a lot of these exciting things come out when you start interacting. And remember, at the end of the day, we have to build a collaboration with our product owner, right? We don't have to go into that traditional mindset of we being the development team, you being the business team. Ultimately, both these teams have to collaborate with each other. There's one more last point. What exactly it could be? Any guesses for it? I mean, all this will lead to what? What we should be doing at the end of a demo or an end of a sprint review. So one last point before I open the floor for any questions. Yeah, and I would also request people who are on Zoom, if you can come on a camera, that would really be great. So the last point which I wanted to say was celebrate. That is what we have built wonderful products for, right? So celebrate the good product what you have built. You have to appreciate your team, the hard work what they have put in last 2 weeks during the sprint. It has to be celebrated, right? And celebration doesn't always mean party. There are different ways of celebrating, right? You pat on the back, you actually appreciate your team members, you appreciate, you give them chocolates. I mean, there's so many ways. Not necessarily it has to be a dinner or a lunch which you have to give, right? So many ways of celebrating. So last but not the least, the tip for a successful review would be celebrate and appreciate, most importantly, the time spent by all the stakeholders. So remember, they are going to spend their time, they're going to spend their valuable time in making sure that this sprint review or a demo is a successful one. And so acknowledge that, and all of us celebrate that. On that note, I end my talk, and I hope you like this talk. Would be happy to share your feedback, like number 4 here. Things you liked in this, things you did not like, and any suggestions. And I will also open the floor for any questions. In case there are any questions, feel free to ask the question. So yeah, so and those of you who are on LinkedIn Live, yeah, you can put in your questions there, you can put in your feedback there. I will revert back to you with any questions. In any case, I'll be sending across the link of this recording to all of you. Please have a look at it, and let me know your feedback on that. Okay, so yeah, any questions anyone has here? So people who are in Zoom meeting can now unmute yourself and ask any questions. I would prefer when you're asking question, at least if you come on a camera, that would really help us to know each other. Yeah, anyone, any questions? Please feel free to ask here.
Yeah, Shitosh?
Yes, yes, Mona, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for the wonderful session.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just have a question regarding this sprint review. So as per our Scrum guide, the time frame is just 2 to 4 hours, right? That's been defined in the Scrum guide.
Right.
Yeah, so
that is a maximum time. That is a
yeah,
maximum time. Yes.
So, okay, will it be possible to do all these activities, being collaborative, being innovative, being creative within these 4 hours of time at the max?
So I am not saying that in one sprint review you have to do all five. I'm just giving you some ideas where you can pick up anyone and do it. And again, remember what I said, you have to set the stage, you have to prepare it in advance. Your final movie is of only 2.5 hours, but preparation for that would take more time, would take some time, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for asking the question. Yeah, anyone else?
Is there some set of agendas we need to follow during this event?
No, agenda is something which what do you mean by agenda? The Scrum Guide doesn't prescribe any agenda, right? It is left to the Scrum Master to decide, right?
No. Yeah, I believe that there is no this one specific thing which has been told. But with your experience, do you feel, because sometimes whatever we are prepared, and I think how the situation during the review call, it might differ, right? So our preparation could sometimes not be the one which we actually anticipated, or the way how it goes, I think it might differ. So during such challenges, how are we going to manage is my question. So that is where I actually asked, should we have some set of agendas?
So definitely, that's what I said. No, I mean, don't send the invite at 4:30 p.m. for a 5 o'clock meeting. You have to send the invite and clearly tell the stakeholders how you are going to do a demo this time. What will be, a clear-cut agenda that, okay, we will be having this video film for 5 minutes, followed by a real demo for another 15-20 minutes. So that is what you'll have to publish that agenda in advance. Whichever format you decide, you'll have to publish that agenda in advance. Okay. Anyone else? Any questions? Yeah, I see a lot of questions on LinkedIn Live. I will answer those questions as we go along. Yeah, so one request, do subscribe to my YouTube channel. There are 100+ videos to help you for your career. Do subscribe. I have pinged in the link here, and we'll be happy to answer any other question if you have.
Could you elaborate how exactly this event will happen in terms of SAFe?
So this is not a framework specific event. This is a framework agnostic event. So you can apply the same thing, whether it is safe, whether it is less, you can apply any of these techniques. So if you have a system demo, maybe you have multiple teams coming together and using any of these techniques to enact it, right? So it is not a framework agnostic event that, okay, it can only work in one framework. It will not, it is a framework agnostic event, this technique, and it is not a framework specific event. Like it will only work in framework A, it will not work in framework B or framework C. It can work in any of the standard agile frameworks. In fact, we have also used it in Kanban, just to let you know. Okay. All right. Any other question? Maybe a minute or so I will give. Otherwise, yeah, you can always reach out to me later for any questions or for any clarifications. Feel free to reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to have it. So if you are interested in joining our Telegram group, do join. From a career growth perspective, do join the Telegram group, and it will definitely benefit. And if you want to know more about the Agile Transformation Masterclass, do reach out to me one-on-one, right? I'll be more than happy to talk about it, because this is where in that class where we talk about all these techniques more in detail, like how you should be applying or what techniques you should be applying at your workplace, which will give you that extra edge. Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Ashutosh. This is may not be regarding this session, but I have missed actually your last session where you have agenda like how to become agile coach from Scrum Master. So that video is also released.
Yes, it is on the YouTube channel.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. That is already on the YouTube channel, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. And
Yeah. So
really,
all the yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, this session is also really, you have given the good ideas, because really sprint planning and sprint demos are very boring. So, I mean, really, thanks. for giving innovative ideas.
Thanks. Yeah, appreciate that. Thanks, you liked it. Really appreciate it. Okay. Fine, then I think we are good to close the session then. So thanks once again for spending Friday evening with me. I really appreciate all of you coming together, and I hope you learned something new. There's an article which I've published called Roti. So I hope you have got Roti. I know it's dinner time in India. Roti is, by the way, return on time invested. That is a term which I have coined in that article on Medium. Do read that article also, medium.com. And I hope you earned Roti today, return on time investment, because believe me, nothing comes free in this world. Okay, you might be thinking this session is free. This is not free. You have invested 1 hour of valuable time with me. So really appreciate all of you investing that time. And I hope you got some return out of it at the end of the day. So thanks everyone. Have a great evening ahead, and wishing you all a very happy weekend. Stay healthy, stay safe. Thanks a lot, and see you for another such session in the coming weeks. Bye for now. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.